أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي كان موجودا قبل حدوث الأشياء ويبقى بعد فناء الأشياء. تفرد بالأولية والقدم ووسم كل شيء ما عداه بالفناء والعدم. كما قال عز شأنه: كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكل نفس ذائقة الموت. وقال: كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. سبحان من لا يخفى عليه اختلاف النيات ولا يعذب عنه معاصي العباد في الخلوات. سبحان الله الذي منه خلقة العباد وإليه المعاد. فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يراه ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يراه. نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو الملك الذي لا ينازع في ملكه ولا يضاد في حكمه، يعذب من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء، ويرحم من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء. تعذيبه المسيئين عدل وعفوه تفضل. ونشهد أن محمدا سيد المرسلين والمنذرين صلى الله عليه وآله الهداة المهديين. من ركب سفينتهم نجا واهتدى ومن تخلف عنها ضل فغرق وهوى. أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله ونظم أمركم. I advise all of you and myself to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to organize our affairs. Dear mu'mineen, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the sermon that we have been discussing, the commander of faithful describes the qualities of God-fearing, pious people. We discussed about the phrase قُلُوبُهُمْ مَحْزُونَةٌ وَشُرُورُهُمْ مَأْمُونَةٌ. These God-fearing people, their hearts are grieved. وَشُرُورُهُمْ مَأْمُونَةٌ. And the people, they are safe from their evils. They do not harm anyone. وَأَجْسَادُهُمْ نَحِيفَةٌ وَحَاجَتُهُمْ خَفِيفَةٌ. Their bodies are thin. Their bodies are thin and weak. They are lean. وَحَاجَتُهُمْ خَفِيفَةٌ. And their needs are less. Again, these are the two important qualities which Imam describes as the qualities of God-fearing people. Now, something important to understand here, when Imam says that these God-fearing, pious people, their bodies are lean, they are thin, their bodies are thin, they are not bulky, they don't have heavy bodies, their physique is weak and they are thin. Does it mean that everyone with a thin body has good taqwa? And if there is someone whose physique is, strong built, has less taqwa? Therefore, the answer is clear. It is not this. It is not like this. It does not mean that everyone who has a thin body is with taqwa and everybody who has, a strong build has less taqwa, has less piety. No. Whereas Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, what Imams describe here is that a person who is God-fearing needs to avoid self-indulgence. A person who is God-fearing will avoid lot of overeating, oversleeping. They do not care about their body's pleasure. They do not take care of their pleasure of their body, their materialistic pleasures. Therefore, their bodies, they become weak, they become thin. And this is how Imam alayhi salatu wasalam describes a God-fearing person, that you will not find them taking care of their bodies in pleasure. They do not overeat, they do not oversleep. They know what they have been created for. And this is what Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, in one of his letters to one of his governors, Imam writes a letter to Uthman bin Hunayf. He was a governor in Basra, and he was invited by one of the elites of the society, a big businessman, and he gave a lavish banquet and invited for a meal. When Imam came to know that one of his representatives attended such a party, such a gathering, which was lavish, which was, a banquet which was very lavish. So Imam alayhi salatu wasalam wrote a letter, and wrote a letter with strong words. And Imam said, do you think your Imam cannot afford lavish life? Do you think your Imam eats less and eats simple, has a simple diet because your Imam does not have money? Is it out of poverty? No, Imam says, I can have the best of bread. Imam says, I can have the best of meat. Imam says, I can have the purest of honey. Imam gives out examples. Imam says, I can wear the best of clothings, but still I need to remember the poorest person in my government. Therefore, I need to take care of these people, and you are a representative of the people. You have to take care of yourself. And then here Imam says, Fama, and this is for people who do not think in this way. Imam says, Fama khalaqtu liyashghalani aklu tayyibat. I have not been created to keep myself busy eating food. Imam says, I have not been created for eating food. You have to take, some people, they eat food as if they are created to eat food. No, you are created to eat food in order to get a healthy life and then worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, submit to His wills. Imam says, some people, they eat like animals. Imam says, كَالْبَهِيمَةِ الْمَرْبُوطَةِ هَمُّهَا عَلَفُهَا. You have seen some of these animals, a cow or a goat or a sheep, when they are tied with a rope and a bunch of grass, whatever, hay and whatever is put in front of them, the animals' only thought is how to finish that grass. Imam says, some people are like that. They look at food as if they just have to finish it off. And some people are like, when they are let loose, they are like some animals who are let loose to graze in a green field, and they do not think about anything else. They just think about eating. They just think about, filling up their bellies. Imam says, and they do not think that they have not been created to eat, but they have been created to eat in a manner that they can become strong and healthy and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why you have been created. In the book Mahajjatul Bayda, Fayd Kashani, he says, the reason of all destructions of human spirituality is the desire to eat and to fill their stomachs. And out of this desire comes other desires. The sexual lust, the lust of power, the lust of wealth. All of these desires, they come out of the desire to fill bellies with food. Some people, when they say food, they do not think that it is your belly. It is your health. You have to take care of what you eat and what you consume. You have to be healthy in your life. Being skinny and being thin does not mean that you are not healthy. Imam Ali says that a person who's pious will take care of this. Have a diet, have a good diet, have a healthy diet, have a balanced diet, go on keto or whatever you want. But have a good diet, have a diet which will benefit you, which will benefit your body. A mu'min needs a healthy life. You cannot destroy your body. You cannot not take care of your body. You have to take care of your physical life. Now, maybe someday we'll talk about the importance of workout, physical activities. It is very important. We need to encourage all of these things. Aimma alayhi salatu wasalam encouraged. They used to have physical activities. Your Imam, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he used to dig wells. A normal person cannot single-handedly dig a well. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam used to dig deep wells. How can he do that? Unless you don't have a strong physique, you cannot dig a well. Therefore, Imam says that you have to take care of these things. And there are so many riwayats which talk about the virtues of avoiding overeating and having a balanced and a moderate diet. Someone asked the Holy Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, ayyun nasi afdal, O beloved Prophet, who are those people who are more of virtue, who have more, higher level of higher status? So the Holy Prophet replies, Man qalla ta'amuhu wa dhihkuhu wa radiya bima yasturu bihi awratuhu. Rasulullah says three things. Those people who eat less who laugh less, and who are content with minimum clothing. These are the people, these are the people who are perfect people, who are the people of virtue, who are the people who have higher level in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Three things: they eat less, they laugh less, and they are content with minimum clothing. This is how a moderate life should be. You do not eat whatever you want to eat. However, you have a tomorrow also to eat. Some people, I have seen them, when they have food in front of them, they will fill up their plates. Especially on Sofra, Niyaz, Imam Barga. And then they, at the end of the day, when they are trying to eat, they will understand that no, this was not according to their diet, and they will leave it. This is israf. You take whatever you can handle in your plate, whatever you can eat. So this is important. Now there is another riwayah where Rasulullah again reminds us that jahidu anfusakum bil ju'i wal atash. Strive in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be a warrior. Fight in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jahidu, do this jihad. What type of jihad? Anfusakum bil ju'i wal atash. Strive against your nafs. This is your nafs. People listen to their nafs. This is the call of the nafs. The nafs will tell you, when people are fasting, usually, whenever they see delicious food throughout the day, they will think that, I'm going to eat this, and I'm going to eat that, and I'm going to have this dessert, and I'm going to have this meal. And when it comes to iftar, they are so much filled up that they will not eat anything. These are desires. People think, people are in illusion. So you have to take care. We all have to take care of what we eat. Rasulullah says, Jahidu anfusukum bil ju'i wal atash. Strive against your nafs through hunger and thirst. This is the whole concept of Sawm, fasting. فَإِنَّ الْأَجْرَ فِي ذَلِكَ كَالْأَجْرِ الْمُجَاهِدِ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. And the reward that you are going to receive for striving and for keeping yourself away from food and water is the reward which a warrior will have for fighting in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're like a warrior, a person who keeps himself hungry and thirsty in the path of Allah is like a warrior. Then again, Rasulullah again says, Inna Allah yubahi al-malaika biman qalla ta'amuhu fi dunya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes pride. This is Islam that we are talking about. This is the beauty of Islam. Islam does not tell you, just go and pray 5 times a day, go and fast, go for Hajj, do this, do that. No. Islam takes care of your spiritual and your worldly life. This is your worldly, and it is going to affect your spiritual life also. Islam says, Inna Allah yubahi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to take pride in a person who eats less in this world. This is important. A person who eats. Now, everybody has to decide for himself. Don't say, oh, Maulana was talking about eating less and less, so I'm going to eat less, and tomorrow you will come up, you will not attend Jum'ah. Why? Because I was weak. Maulana told me, and you will end up in hospital. No. Everybody has to follow their own diet, but you have to see that what type of food you are consuming, how much quantity you require. Everybody knows for themselves. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes pride in a person who eats less in this world before his angels. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to gather his angels and say, look at my servant. Look at unzuru ila abdi. Look at my servant. Ibtalaytuhu bit-ta'ami wash-sharabi fi dunya. I'm testing my servant with food and with water in this world. Fatarakahuma li ajli. And my servant is leaving these foods, these drinks for my sake, for my pleasure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking pride in the ushhidu ya malaikati. Oh my angels, bear witness. Ma min akilatin tarakaha li ajli illa abdaltuhu biha darajatun fil jannah. For every tiny bit of food that my servant is going to leave for my sake, I'm going to elevate his status in Jannah. For every bite that he was supposed to take, he wanted to take that bite, take that crunch, he's leaving it for my sake, I'm going to elevate his status in Jannah. This is the reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is how Allah likes his servant to be. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes. The whole concept, maybe sometime we'll go and we'll discuss all of this. In the path of spirituality, the wayfarers in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, usually the first step is to put your body in discomfort. This is how putting your body in discomfort will strengthen your soul. This is a major fundamental belief in Irfan. One more riwayah, as I told you, there are multiple riwayahs. One more riwayah, interesting riwayah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where the Holy Prophet reminds and says, calls his companions and says, do you want me to tell you an interesting thing? The companion says, Ya Rasulullah, please tell us, share with us. Rasulullah says, Adimu qara'a babil jannah yuftah lakum. Continue to knock the door of heaven until it opens for you. Continue knocking the door of heaven until it opens up for you. So we know that we can knock the door of heaven, and we have to do it in such continuity that it will open. At the end of the day, it will open. So the people, they asked, كيف نديم قرع باب الجنة? Ya Rasulullah, how can we continue knocking on the gates of the paradise? The Holy Prophet replied, بالجوع والظمأ. With your thirst and with your hunger, you can strike on the doors, you can keep on knocking the doors of heaven, and at the end it will open for you. With your hunger, with your thirst. Now we have Ramadan closing in fast, and those are the days of fasting. People are advised, mu'mineen are advised to fast during the month of Rajab and Sha'ban. Now whatever is left of Sha'ban, we should try to fast. We should try to keep our body intact, and try to start practicing this fast so that we do not have a hard time during Ramadan. And these days, I don't know why there is no rain for at least 2 weeks. I'm seeing it's being hot, 35 degrees now here. We used to bear the heat in Iran and Kuwait, about 40 degrees. But here, when it comes to 33 people, they start shouting that it's so hot. So we don't know, maybe Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to bless us with the rain, but still we need to practice, and we need to start getting into that practice of fasting. Now one day, Prophet Yahya saw Iblis. Yeah, Prophet Yahya saw Iblis, and Prophet Yahya saw Iblis with chains and locks. Iblis was going with chains and locks. So Prophet Isa, he asked Iblis, what are these chains and locks? What are you doing with these chains and locks? Iblis replied that these are the things by which I misguide people. So Prophet Yahya asked, is there any of these meant for me? Is there a lock? Is there a chain for me? So Iblis says, yes. The Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Iblis says, yes, I have a chain for you also. Allahu Akbar. If Iblis has a chain for the Prophet, what about us? Says, yes, I have a chain for you, I have a lock for you. Prophet Yahya says, what is my lock? What is my chain? What do you mean? And it is a metaphor, it is a metaphor. Some of the practices are those chains and locks. Some people, as soon as they see a na-mahram, they cannot control their eyes. This is a chain and this is a lock. Some people, as soon as they find that they can do ghibat, they cannot stop themselves. This is a chain and a lock of a shaitan. So Prophet Yahya, he says, what is my chain? Do you have a lock for me also? So Iblis says, yes, I have a lock for you. He says, what is that lock? You have a lock for me? I'm the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I have a lock for you. So what is my lock? Says, overeating is your lock. Sometimes you overeat. Say, subhanallah, I never knew this. What do you mean overeating? Iblis replies and advises, sometimes there are advices that you can take from anyone. No matter, Muslim, non-Muslim, Maulana gives you advice. Take from your Maulana, he's giving you advice. Iblis says, yes, I have a lock for you. What is that lock? Says, overeating. How can overeating affect me? Iblis replies, sometimes when you overeat, you become lazy. And then you will miss out the sweetness in remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then you will find your body heavy to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it will be very difficult for you on a full belly to wake up at night to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that was the moment that Prophet Yahya, he said, from now on, I take an oath before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I will never fill my stomach with food. That was the time Prophet Yahya took this oath and promised himself that he will never fill his stomach with food. And again, that was the time when Iblis also swore and he said that by Allah, This is also amazing. Iblis, whenever he wants to swear, he swears by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, taking the oath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By Allah, from now on, I will never advise a Muslim any good deed. I will never advise anybody. So it's better to take advice whenever and whatever you can from anybody. Therefore, this is the Prophet talking about overeating. This is Rasulullah talking about overeating. This is Imam Ali in his sermon advising us that don't eat, don't live for eating. You have been created for something else. You have to take care of your body. You have to take care of your physical life. Therefore, Imam says that those people who are God-fearing are the people with a few qualities, and those qualities are قلوبهم محزونة, their hearts are grieved, وشرورهم مأمونة, people are safe and protected from their evils, وأجسادهم نحيفة, their bodies are thin, وحاجاتهم خفيفة, and their needs are less. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all with the understanding of the sayings of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to imitate the seerah of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. إن أحسن الحديث وأبلغ الموعظة كتاب الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. صدق الله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا وشفيع المذنبين أبي القاسم مصطفى محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، لا سيما حجة ابن الحسن المهدي عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف. أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله ونظم أمركم. Once again, I advise you all and myself to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to organize our affairs. Today is 15th of Sha'ban, which is the day of the birth of our beloved Imam Baqiyatullah al-Azam, Hujjat ibn al-Hasan al-Mahdi, Ajjal Allah ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif. Congratulations to all of us, mu'mineen around the world, and felicitations to everyone who calls itself human, and they do not recognize that they have an Imam, but there is an Imam, and they are benefiting from the presence of that Imam. Therefore, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasten the reappearance of the Imam of our time. This day, where we also recite in the ziyarah of Friday, هذا يوم الجمعة وهو يومك. O Imam, O Imam Mahdi, this is the day, this is Friday, يوم الجمعة وهو يومك المتوقع فيه ظهورك. This is the day when I was expecting your zuhur, I was expecting your arrival, I was expecting your reappearance. And today also, unfortunately, we did not experience. In every single day that passes by, every single Friday, every single week, is a week of sorrow and grief for all of us, because we are not witnessing the presence, we are not seeing our Imam. This is something, yes, today is 15th of Sha'ban, it is a joyful day, it is a day of joy, it is a day, as we say, khushhali, but it is also a day where a person finds some sort of sadness in his heart. In Dua Nutba, there is a phrase, هل إليك يا ابن أحمد سبيل فتلقى. This is what a person should tell to himself and call your Imam. هل إليك يا ابن أحمد سبيل فتلقى. O Imam Mahdi, is there a way? O son of Ahmad, son of Prophet Ahmad, son of Rasulullah, is there a way to meet you? Is there a path you can show me to meet you? How can I meet you? How can I see you? متى ننتقع من عذب مائك فقد طال الصدى. When is the time? What time is going to be? When is it going to be the time when I'm going to witness that arrival where I will witness the fountain of life, the fountain of water, the pure water of your presence. فَقَدْ طَالَ الصَّدَى. And this occultation has really prolonged. Oh Imam, this is something that we all need to understand within ourselves, that there is something missing in our lives. Our Imam is not there, we cannot see him, we cannot. And again in Dua Nutba, please go recite translations of these du'as. These du'as are the thoughts and the ideas that Ahl Bayt ﷺ have delivered to us. In this dua, in that Dua Nutba, there is a phrase where it says that I listen to every noise, every person's voice, but alas, I do not listen to your voice. وَلَا أَسْمَعُ حَسِيسًا وَلَا نَجْوَى. I cannot hear your voice. Where are you, Mawla? Where are you, Imam? I do not see you. I do not hear you. This is something, and this is Dua Nutba. And this is dua which is known as the dua to cry and to weep, and to understand that we have lost something. If I lose something very important, and I've been reminded that you have lost something very important today, if one of you loses your mobile, if I lose my mobile for a single minute, I'll be, disturbed. I cannot, take a step forward. Where is my phone? All of my life is, on my phone. We do not understand. We do not give so much of importance to our Imam. We need to remind ourselves. No one will come and tell you. You yourself, I myself need to remind myself that there is something very important that is missing in my life. I have created such a comfortable zone around myself that I do not feel the need of an Imam. This is something very bad. Where are we going? What is our life? How are we dealing with our lives? We have to understand, we have to come out of this comfort zone. We have to understand, make ourselves understand that there is something missing in our lives, and something that we need to think towards. That yes, I need to understand that there's an Imam who is waiting for us, and we are not waiting for him. Imam al-Muntadhar, he is Imam al-Muntadhar and also Muntadhir. Imam al-Khaif, when you are going to salute your Imam after the prayer, when you are going to recite that ziyarah, you will say al-Imam al-Khaif. Why Imam al-Khaif? Why Imam who is afraid? He's afraid for us. Inna ghayru muhmilina li mura'atikum. Imam says, Imam himself, he wrote a tawqi', he wrote a letter, and he said, Inna ghayru muhmilina li mura'atikum wa la nasina li dhikrikum falawla dhalik nazalat alaykum al-bala wastalamakum al-a'da. If it was, we always take care of you, we remember you. Inna ghayru muhmilina, we don't take this matter easily. We keep on remembering you. We do not forget your remembrance. فَلَوْلَا ذَلِكَ, if it was not for our remembrance, and if it was not for me taking care of you, calamities would descend upon you and your enemies would have destroyed you. And this is the fact. The whole world wants to destroy Tashayyu'. The whole world wants to destroy you. But Imam is there. Your Imam is there. Our own present people, sometimes they ask, what is your daleel that you have an Imam? My presence here is the dalil that we have our Imam. We have a warith, we have someone to take care of us. Otherwise, the enemies all around us, all over the globe, they want to destroy the Tashayyu'. They want to destroy Ahl Bayt ﷺ. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to keep us. Now, very important, quickly, one more point that I want to mention. I have been mentioning this point throughout this week. It is again something that before, I sometimes think, that today everybody loves Imam. You see Karbala on the day of Arba'een, millions of people going for the ziyarat of Imam. There is no doubt, everybody loves his Imam. Everybody loves and takes care of the Imam. But this is not the only and single condition to be fulfilled for the reappearance of Imam. There are many conditions. And one of the conditions is to understand that you have an Imam. And one of the most important conditions, which we understand from the riwayat and the narrations and reports that we have, and the ulama, what they say is that we, unless don't take care of our fellow mu'mineen, Imam is not going to appear. No appearance at all. Because Imam wants to, in a house, if a father sees the children fighting and fighting and fighting, not loving each other, but the children, they love the father. But the children, they do not love themselves. This father is going to get annoyed. This father will not like the environment of that house. Will that love of the children for the father, will it suffice? Will it be enough for the father? No, the father always wants. The father will tell the children, you don't love me, I don't care, but you love each other. Sometimes the father will end up saying this. Now, I don't want to match and compare, but this is the story. People, we do not care of each other. We do not love each other. Yes, we love our Imam. We take care of our Imam. We remember our Imam. But how much we remember each other in our prayers, how much we take care of each other with a simple, small excuse, we keep on fighting. Yes, we destroy, we see the houses being destroyed, relations being destroyed, marriages ending up in divorce. Why? Why so? This is the environment that we are going to invite our Imam to. This is the house that we are going to invite our Imam to. This is the condition that Imam wants. This is something what Imam is expecting from us. No, no father will love this. No father will love its children and child to fight with each other. Therefore, there is this narration which says, من سمع رجلا من سمع رجلا ينادي للمسلمين ينادي يا للمسلمين فلم يجبه فليس بمسلم. If a person hears a call that a person is calling out, a Muslim is calling out, oh Muslimin, help me out. And if someone does not reply, he is not a Muslim. This is the narration from Holy Prophet. You might be reciting kalima, you might be going for Hajj, you might be having the belief of Tawheed, Nabuwa, everything. But Rasulullah says, if you hear a Muslim calling for help and you do not reply, you can reply, and you do not reply, you're not a Muslim. That is not the way a Muslim behaves. A Muslim takes care. A Muslim has a balanced life. He will balance everything in his life. Every small detail a Muslim and a pious person will take care of. This is something we need to understand. That yes, maybe we are loving our Imam, but maybe, this is a thought that I'm giving you, maybe we don't love each other that much. The expectation of our Imam, because we are all, I mentioned last night, we are all the children of Imam. This is the Ummah. Imam is our father. A father is disheartened every Thursday. Our deeds are presented in front of our Imam. And when Imam looks at it, Imam cries sometimes out of our deeds. And this is something bad. We have to ask for forgiveness. We have to ask Imam, we have to give an apology to the Imam that we have been hurting you, Mawla. We have been hurting you throughout. Therefore, it is enough. We need to understand we were not worthy enough. Yes, when I was born in the era of occultation. It was not because of me the ghaibat occurred. But is it because of me the ghaibat is getting continued? We have to analyze, we have to think for ourselves that what is my contribution in hastening the reappearance of Imam? Maybe this step forward, taking care of people, taking care of your fellow mu'mineen, Muslimin. Even if you have fulfilled your rights, zakat, khums, fitrah, everything, still there is a riwayat which says if you have given out all your obligatory, alms and zakat and everything, still the money in your pocket, there is a share of the needy people in that money which is lying in your pocket. Therefore, these are the riwayats which encourage us to love each other, to live in peace and harmony, and create an environment which Imam will love and Imam will come, will appear and will be willing to live in. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all tawfiq to create an environment which is an environment loved by the Imam of our time. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على نبينا أبي القاسم مصطفى محمد. وصل على أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب. وصل على فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. وصل على الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. وعلي بن الحسين. اللهم صل على ومحمد بن علي. اللهم صل على محمد وجعفر بن محمد. وموسى بن جعفر. اللهم صل على محمد وعلي بن موسى. اللهم صل على محمد ومحمد بن علي. وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. اللهم صل على محمد والحجة بن الحسن القائم المنتظر المهدي عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف. اللهم صل على محمد. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات، تابع بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات، إنك على كل شيء قدير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. صدق الله العلي العظيم.